Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Marie, and I will be the host for today's webinar, From ADAS to Connected System, How to Accelerate Innovation in Automotive Development with Requirements Management. Before we begin, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. So first, at the bottom of your screen are multiple application engagement tools that you can use. All the engagement tools are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your presentation area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A engagement tool. We will try to answer these during the webcast, but if a fuller answer is needed or we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. Please note that we do capture all the questions. Some networks causes some slides to advance more slowly than others, so if your slides are a bit behind, push F5 on your keyboards and it will refresh the page. You can find additional answers to some common technical issues located in the Help widget at the bottom of your screen. A copy of today's slide deck and additional help materials are also available in the resource list. We really encourage you to download any of those resources or links that you might find useful. And lastly, this webinar is also recorded and will be sent via the email that you registered with to introduce to our speaker. So today, the Ask Jama webinar will be presented by Adrian Rolufs. Adrian is a principal consultant at Jama Software. He's been with Jama for over 5 years and focusing on setting up data model and processes for new automotive and semiconductors customers. Before working at Jama, he was a product definer at Maxim Integrated, and he was using Jama Connect to define requirements for audio and power management products for the consumer electronics market. He's been writing requirements for complex hardware and software systems for over 15 years and writing requirements in Jama Connect for over 7 years. So before starting, I would also like to share with you our agenda. We will start by discussing the different challenges that the automotive industry is facing today, and we will follow by a discussion and a live demonstration of how Jama Connect solution can help. We will end the presentation by responding to a couple of questions sent by the attendees that we received in the chat. And with this, I will let Adrian start his presentation.
Thank you, Marie. Hi, everyone. It's Adrian Rolufs, and I'm going to be talking about our automotive solution today. So first of all, I'd like to start by describing the challenge that we see for our automotive customers. What we see is that there's a lot of changes in the automotive market. There's new technologies, new factors coming in, and this is really changing the landscape that automotive companies are working in. So there's an increase in focus on mobility services, connectivity between vehicles and other systems, a higher focus on safety and more systems that are involved in safety, and then as well as the electronic vehicle and the autonomous vehicle technical challenges that are being worked on. And this has really changed the landscape quite significantly for companies operating in this space. We're seeing vehicles that last longer, that need to be reliable over a longer period of time. We're seeing more regulations taking into effect that companies need to consider. And there's a lot more electronic and software systems being integrated into vehicles. And so this is really having a big impact. And there's a couple major factors that we see. One is that existing vehicle companies and suppliers are starting new teams to work on these challenges. And we also see a lot of new companies coming into the automotive space. And this is where Jama comes in. We have put together a solution for these new teams and new companies that are working in the automotive space to help them get going quickly. A lot of these teams have a common need, which is to develop technology quickly, get to market quickly, while still being compliant with the safety standards and following best practices. And a big part of that is using a requirements management tool and having a well-defined requirements management process. So when an automotive customer buys our automotive solution, including Jama Connect, this comes along with a process and documentation of that process for how to use the tool in a way that's compliant with both ISO 26262 as well as Automotive ASPICE, which are the most common standards that companies are following in this space. We find that a lot of companies don't have the time to set these processes up from scratch, and so they would prefer to leverage known practices that we can provide. So what does this solution look like? So the main elements of this solution are summarized on this slide. We first start by clarifying the scope of what Jama Connect is best used for in this space. So there are elements of meeting ISO 26262 as well as Automotive ASPICE that Jama is ideally suited for. And there's other elements of those standards that don't really apply to a tool like Jama. And so we outline that, and we'll talk about that more today. We provide recommended procedures for how to use Jama Connect in this framework and in this to meet these standards. And we provide a justification for those processes, linking back to the specific elements of the standards that companies must follow. And then we also provide the detailed activities that are best performed in Jama. And finally, we provide export templates so that all the work that you do in Jama Connect can be exported into documents for long-term archival and for audit purposes. So the solution of Jama Connect for Automotive is primarily focused on requirements management, hazard and risk analysis, and test management, and the traceability between those. Jama Connect is a product that focuses on meeting those needs that customers have, and the Automotive solution provides the guidance for how to do that work in a way that's compliant with the Automotive standards. And we provide an out-of-the-box configuration of the tool. Since Jama Connect is a highly configurable tool, there are many different ways to set up the tool, but this solution provides a framework that's designed specifically to meet the industry standards for Automotive in a way that makes best use of the functionality of Jama. We also provide a process documentation to provide you guidance on how to do the work in the tool, export templates to allow you to export your documents, a functional safety kit so that you can help with qualifying the software tool. We also have the ability to provide you with a data exchange for exchanging requirements in a RecIF format between suppliers and other companies. And finally, the package includes consulting and training services from our professional services group so that your teams can learn the tool quickly and efficiently, and any questions can be answered. It's also possible during that engagement to customize the framework. So the framework is offered as a starting point, but a lot of customers choose to customize it to their specific business needs, and our consultants will help with that. Overall, the focus of the Jama Connect solution for Automotive focuses on a data model that's based around a system engineering V model, and that's what's shown on the screen here. In this diagram, we outline the key elements of a system engineering development V that apply to Jama Connect and that our customers typically use Jama Connect for. In this diagram, the boxes that are darker in color are the ones that we find the best suited for doing in Jama Connect. And then the white boxes are ones that some of our customers choose to implement in Jama Connect and others choose to implement in other ways. And so our framework includes all the elements shown on this screen, but there are some choices around what you choose to implement. So the primary focus, as you can see from this slide, is capturing all the requirements in Jama, as well as all of the test management and test results so that you can provide traceability back to those requirements. In addition, the review and approval of that content is handled by Jama Connect, and all the change management is handled in Jama Connect as well. Finally, for customers that choose to, you can implement your design architectural specifications and detailed designs in Jama, as well as other planning documents. And we'll cover that today.